again, guys, and welcome back to another pickups video. And we have some big pickups this week, and by big I don't mean monetary, I mean we have lots and lots of games to get through. I've actually picked up two really big bundles recently. We're going to jump in. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with these massive piles of games, but first, got some little pickups to go through, so let's jump straight into the first one. If you've been watching the videos for a while, you'll know one of the ways I like to get good deals is using the Hot UK Deals app. And that's exactly what happened with this one. Any Switch game that looks half decent under £10, I'm probably going to pick it up. And this is Gal Metal World Tour Edition. So this looks a little bit like kind of a rock band style game where you play the drums using your Switch remotes. This looks really cool, and this was literally like a £10 pickup on Amazon. Don't know anything about it, but for cheap brand new Switch games I'm always willing to take a risk for £10. So let me know in the comments below if you've played this one, if it's one to check out soon. So normally I would not be picking up PC games except for kind of big box PC games, which, spoiler alert, there might be some more of in this video. But this one kind of piqued my interest. This may look like a normal Prince of Persia The Sands of Time box, but it actually comes with an exclusive controller. So this was like a really cheap pickup on eBay, but the controller's actually pretty cool. So I don't know if I've really said before, I don't play on the PC that often, but this was kind of cool to pick up. This was literally like £1 plus postage. The one weird thing about it is like the game does seem to just come in a generic DVD case. Like, I don't know if this is the case normally or if the seller has just replaced the case, but you know, I always like to have these kind of weird little strange items in the collection, so this one definitely falls into that category. If you are like me and troll Facebook Marketplace all the time, you will come across some quite random stuff, and I kind of praise the seller for actually listing this. It is simply a Game Boy Advance Sonic Adventure box. There is no game, no instructions, there is not even a cardboard insert, but he literally just listed this in case anyone wanted it, and in a strange coincidence I have the cartridge loose, so now I can complete it in box. This brings us nicely onto this week's question of the week, and that is all about how you preserve your video games. With something like a cardboard insert, are you happy to go on Etsy and kind of buy one that's made for the purpose, or are you going to be looking for an original one? Especially with kind of your old SNES, N64 and Game Boy games, those cardboard inserts are getting harder and harder to find. Me personally, I'm quite happy to get the new ones off Etsy just to slot in there to keep everything together. But when it comes to something like the box, I want the original, and especially with the instructions, I'm looking for that original, minty fresh, lovely goodness. If you're a retro gamer yourself, or you've been watching my videos for a little while, you will notice that the price of Pokemon games has gone up and up and up. And from now, I am taking a stand and saying now is the time I'm going to really start knuckling down and trying to catch them all. I worked out there is probably about 50 games to get, and it's going to take a long while, and some of them are getting very expensive. But what better time to start than now? And I've started off with some low level ones just to get into that collection. So the first one is Pokemon Link for the Nintendo DS. So this is a game I've never actually played. It just basically looks like they've used Pokemon and just made it into a very simple puzzle game. All of these are complete in the box. What I'm going to be trying to do is get complete in-box original games. This one's very cheap, and next up we have a couple more that are a little bit more expensive. So we have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, and Explorers of Darkness. So these are games I've never actually played. I've mainly just played the mainline Pokemon games. These ones look pretty cool and definitely something a little bit different. I also find it a bit harder with Pokemon when you get these kind of games that are very similar. So this is kind of the same game, just I presume, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, different versions. So on reading this, I'm not really sure what the differences are. It's almost the same, but some of the Pokemon items you'll encounter are different. So one thing I'm going to try and do with Pokemon is at least get one or the other from the set as I go through, just so I can slowly build the collection. So one more, and I've kind of got a bit more up to date with Super Pokemon Rumble for the 3DS. Again, this is a very cheap one to pick up at the moment, and I think it's definitely worth picking them up now, as they're only going to get more expensive. So I'm constantly on the lookout for Pokemon games at the moment, trying to get them newly listed on eBay so I can get some decent prices. If not, I will soon have to suck up and take in some CX stuff to trade in and put towards it. But I've got one more little pickup today. And if you know me, you know I'm a sucker for a strategy guide. And this Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon strategy guide was just £2 off something I picked up another bundle of games that I'll show you later in the video. But for £2, Pokemon strategy guide, can't go wrong. Let's catch them all. At the start of the video, I said I picked up some pretty good bundle deals this week, and they are pretty big deals, and this is one of my favourite ways to pick up games, getting them in these big bundle deals. This is because you can get a lot of games very cheap, you get to add games to your collection, and you get to have games you can trade in for even more games. I'm going to move into the sofa, we're going to go through these bundles, I'm going to explain how I'm going to turn these bundles into games and cash. Buying video game bundles is one of my favourite ways to build the collection. Not just because you get to add games into your collection, but you also get games you have spares of to use either trading or selling on eBay. And one of my favourite bundles to get will always be Nintendo Wii Bundles. These come up all the time on Facebook Marketplace, and if you get a few key games, you can make some really good profit. Even with the Wii console, these will get you £10 to £15 trading all the time at CX, as long as they come with the all-important Wii Nunchuck and Wii Remote. So always make sure you have official ones. This bundle also came with this rather snazzy, unofficial mind you, pink Wii controller. This will stay in the collection because you can get trading of about £2 on these, and it's always good to have spare Wii controllers. Also, I did get a Wii Zapper in this bundle, which is quite good, so I didn't have one in the collection. This is really good for playing light gun games, but the most important thing we need to consider when we look at bundles is the games. So this was a Facebook Marketplace pickup and it cost me £25, but I knew I could make that money back very quickly because of two games in that bundle, and that is Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. These trade in all the time for really good money, but I have sold countless numbers of Wii Sports on Facebook or on eBay for £15. It is one of the easiest games you can resell ever. Wii Sports Resort is not quite as quick to sell, but you can easily get £10. If you cannot be bothered to go on eBay and sell these, you can take these into CX easy any day and get some decent trading credit. But that was not it, there were some other games in here, so it is a mixed bag. Firstly, we have Link's Crossbow Training, which I have in the collection already and is very, very cheap. It's not really one to write home about. One that's always easy to buy and sell and flip is the Just Dance games. It seems people are always looking for more Just Dance. One thing that did surprise me is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which of course I have in the collection already, but this doesn't actually sell too well. I think it's because it's not the most popular Smash Bros. Game, but still a decent trading game. Then we have Call of Duty Black Ops, which I did not have on the Wii. I think I've got this on every other console now. I think I have it on every console now. I presume the Wii version is by far the most inferior, but it's always good to add it. One thing you will find if you ever buy a gaming bundle, you are getting a FIFA game. I don't care where you buy it from, who you buy it from, you are getting FIFA, and they are absolutely useless. They're good for cases, that's about it. But sometimes you get like the more random ones, like Zumba Fitness Join the Party. And this includes a Zumba Fitness belt filled with a Wii Remote to wear to track your hip movements. So I'm really looking forward to shaking my hips, if that actually fits round my hips. So I'm not the smallest guy, but it's always cool to get these kind of weird, rare Wii games in the box complete. So that will go into the collection. And then finally we have not one, but two Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games games. Because the Olympics have just been, the price of these is pretty darn good at the moment. These will be going straight to CX for trade-in for some decent credit. So let's break down this bundle and I'll explain to you how I'm going to turn that £25 into a little bit more. So first off, these are the games we're going to add into the collection. We've got Call of Duty Black Ops and Zumba Fitness complete in the box, as because I do not own these games. So every other game in this bundle is an extra. At the minute, you can probably sell a Wii for a decent amount on eBay if you bundle it with the correct games. So I'm going to be selling the Wii console, as well as the remote and nunchuck, and all the stuff to plug into the TV. I'm going to bundle it with some games. So I'm going to add Wii Sports, Just Dance, Wii Sports Resort, Link's Crossbow Training, because this is going to get us barely anything at trading, and Smash Bros. Brawl. Because of the games like Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort, these are the games people are always looking for on eBay. So I'm going to list that conservatively for £50. That should sell pretty quick. With these two Mario and Sonic and the Olympic Games, these trade in pretty well at CX. So for both of these I can get £9 in-store credit. If I decided to trade all the Wii stuff in instead of sticking it on eBay, so what I normally do is let it sit on there for a week or two. If I'm going to CX, I will take all this stuff in. These bits for trade will give me £50 of in-store credit. So essentially we got our free Call of Duty Black Ops, free Zumba, and we doubled our money in CX trading credit. For a guy like me who's going to be spending his money in CX anyway, that's a pretty good win, and that's how you turn £25 into £50. This next bundle is going to be a little bit more hard work. That's because there is a lot of games. Thankfully there's no consoles we have to test, but this one just put me back 15 quid. So making that money back and adding some good games to collections shouldn't be too hard. Especially the main reason I went for this one is these first two games. So as I said earlier in the video, big box PC games. First we have Worms. So this is the sold out version, which isn't the most desirable version, but oh my, what an absolute classic of a game. Anyone who hasn't played this, do yourself a favour, quit this video and go and play it right now. Secondly, we have another big box PC game. This one I literally wanted because it is called Wargasm. I've never heard of this game. Infograms of people who've made this, I don't know what they were thinking when they decided to make a war game called Wargasm. But it's just, you know, I like the weird stuff. The stuff that makes me say WTF, so this definitely falls into that section. As you saw earlier in the video, this is a pretty hefty bag of games, and it's going to be a lot of work to get through these, so let's jump straight in. First game we have for the original Xbox is Psyops. I don't know if you can see here, that's definitely not in the original case, but I'm sure you can find a spare one in this bundle. Secondly, we have Star Wars Battlefront, again an absolute classic for the original Xbox. Next, X-Men Wolverine's Revenge, and that is, the disc is loose and it has no instructions, so definitely not complete. Next up, Halo Classics, one you have to have if you have an original Xbox. And we have a couple of loose discs, so we have Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Condition of that doesn't look too bad, even though it's loose, but then we have Shrek Treasure Hunt for the PlayStation 1, and that looks absolutely roached. But trust me, there's a lot of games there. I think they said over 35. So as I said, with any bundle, you're getting your football games. You've got PES 6 to begin with. Then we got FIFA Street. So I think these ones aren't actually as bad as the FIFA games. They do have a tiny amount of value. We nearly got through a whole video about having a wrestling game. But we have SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Which I think I have in the collection. I will have to check that one out. I think one surprising one to find in here, Final Fantasy X, which is not complete, but it does have 2 discs, which one is a DVD, so definitely have to look that one up. That's a little bit more confusing. Next up we have 007 Agent Under Fire in the Classics box. I tell you, there's a lot of games in here. Medal of Honor Frontline, another one, it comes up in a lot of bundles. Spy Hunter for the PlayStation 2. The original FIFA Streets, we now have FIFA Street 1 and 2. This pile is getting bigger. FIFA 07, because you can never have enough FIFA. So grab a bigger pile here. Having Television Lives for the history of video games, that would be quite a cool one. It's always good to go back and play these older games. Then we have what looks to be a very much budget title in Ben-Hur Race for Glory. That looks pretty terrible. Next up we have some really grim looking PS1 games. You can see that, I think they must have just found these and chucked them in. So FIFA 2002, no front and a bit of back, not overly concerned. Also, Mary-Kate and Ashley Winner's Circle. So it's a real shame this one isn't complete in box. This could be an absolute gem for the collection. But you know, this is the thing. Oh, and not just that, we have Mary-Kate and Ashley Magical Mystery Mal. So again, the front is missing. Totally gutted about that. Next up, PlayStation 2 Classic Time Crisis 2. We are getting there. This is a big bundle, trust me. So GTA 5 for the Xbox 360. So one thing to always consider with this one is, does it have both discs? Thankfully this time it does. That's always a bonus. Next up we have a Wii game with Brunswick Pro Bowling. So this can actually be pretty cool. If they just took the physics from Wii Sports Bowling and made it a little more realistic, I think this one could be a pretty decent game. This is a surprising one to have in a bundle, and that's the Perfect Dark Zero. It is in fact a steelbook, and the steelbook's in really, really good condition. It has the game and the limited edition bonus DVD. So that's definitely a really good find in a bundle. Oh, I get a short breath. There we have GTA 3, Midnight Club 2. Has GTA 3 got the map? No, but it had. Oh, this is so. We have got the map in there, but also we do have a cheat sheet. Shout out to all of you guys who used to do this back in the day. This was a game I always played with cheats. We're coming down to, we've only got about 100 games left. We shovel out, we have GeForce. Always good to see Lego games. We have Lego Marvel Superheroes. Dynasty Warriors 2. I know there's one of these that missed my collection. It might be that one. We even have a PS4 game in here, even though it is Battleborn, which is one of the cheapest, if not the most worthless PS4 game going. Speaking of cheap games, we have Evolve for the Xbox One. A game that could have been very good if they had ruined it with microtransactions. We're going to dig down into these last few games. We have another PS4 game with Madden 16. I actually don't mind American football games. I'd probably rather find this than another FIFA. Last few games, we have new Carnival Funfair games for the Wii Shovel Hour. Bratz the Movie, another absolute classic for the Wii. And finally, the granddaddy of them all in its special collector's case, Wii Music. As you can see now, I'm absolutely surrounded by games. So I'm going to go away, work out which ones I need for the collection, see which ones are in decent condition, and we're going to work out a trade and keep bundle. After much cleaning, sorting, organising and checking my Game Eye app, I've managed to put these games into two piles. The games this side are all games we're going to add into the collection, which is actually quite surprising. There was more there than I thought that I actually needed for the collection. This side is the games we're going to be able to trade into CX. So what I've done is put these into CX website, and these work out as £12.90 worth of trade-in credit. Obviously I did not include those PlayStation 1 games and loose games as they were pretty roached, and these three being Medal of Honor, PES 6 and FIFA 7 are essentially useless. They would obviously trade in for 1p. So you can either keep them for spare cases or just throw them in the bin at the end of the day. As hard as it is, I don't know what else to do with some of these sports games. But with a £15 value, being able to get £12.90 trade-in and keeping all these games, I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously it depends on your circumstances. If you answer the question, was it worth it? The thing was, I did have to drive half an hour there, half an hour back. So at the end of the day, it just depends how much of your time you want to invest into it. But essentially, I've got all these games for £2.10 plus my time plus some petrol. So I'm quite happy with that. There we have it then, guys. Another week of pickups is in the big bag, if you know what I mean. So loads of games added to the collection and not that much money spent. The thing is, I think big bundles are the way to go if you just want to add lots of games cheaply into your collection while building up a bit of trade-in credit and getting some other games. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little look behind the scenes of how I work out what to do with these big bundles. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like this video and subscribe. I'm always picking up more bundles. I'm here every Saturday with new videos, so I will see you then. And as always, keep playing the game.